What's up, everybody? Can you hear me? Looks like we got 37 on right now. If you can hear me, let me know how the audio sounds. All right, perfect. I see the comments are working. Good. Thank you. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes here before we actually get started. I'll make sure everything's working correctly. Thank you. All right, audio is good. I'll take it. Thank you, Tom. $45 on right now. All right, thanks. If you're just joining us, we're going to get started in a couple minutes, maybe 1 minute. Just going to try to let everyone log in here and get signed in. Let's try this camera. All right, 47 on right now. Welcome, welcome. Little blurry from this view. Little blurry. See, we got Wyoming in the house, Charlotte, North Carolina, Indiana, Missouri. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us here. I see we got some people online right now that just purchased, so awesome. All right. You're ready to go. All right. 51 on right now. Let's go ahead and get started here in 30 seconds. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome. I can't believe it, but they asked me back for a second round. This is our second live stream, sponsored by Monport Laser. I'm very excited to have everybody back. If you're new and you didn't join us last week for Black Friday, my name is Brett, and my company is called American Revival Crafts, and I run that with my wife, which we do laser engraving and cutting, and my wife does it full time. I help her out along the side. I also have a YouTube channel called American Revival Crafts, where I show off different laser engraving tips and tricks, also some CNC stuff and a little bit of woodworking mixed in there. But that is my channel. If you're not subscribed, please, I ask that you subscribe to my channel because I have a lot more content coming out, especially with the Monport 80-watt machine, which I have, and I've had that for about a year right now. Excuse me, I'm just still getting over a little bit of a cold here, so excuse my voice a little bit, but I'm doing my best. I have got my water here that I'm going to be leaning on quite heavily today. So excuse me if I have to clear my throat here and there. But thanks for coming back. If you came back and if you're new, thanks for joining us today. We got 61 on today. That's Pretty good. Pretty good. We have a lot going on here today. A lot. The purpose of this live stream here today is going to be to show off some projects, to answer some of your questions. So if you do have questions, please type them in the comments box. If I don't get to your question, please, I ask you, type it again, because sometimes the chat stream gets a little clogged up and sometimes I might miss things. I know I missed a couple questions last time, but and I apologize for that. If you have any questions, please type them multiple times if I don't answer them, because I want to get to every question. I think we have plenty of time to get to everything. So if I can answer it, I will answer it. The third thing that we're going to do today, which I think some of you might be here for, is we're going to be giving stuff away. So not only are we giving away free material packs of 3mm birch plywood, 12 by 12, 18-piece sets from Monport. We're also going to be announcing 5 winners of the grand prize. So if you ordered a laser between now and when the Black Friday sale started, you were automatically entered into a drawing to win 50% of your purchase back. So that's huge. I mean, excuse me, if you bought a 130-watt laser and spent $7,000, $8,000 on it, you could be getting $4,000 back here tonight. So stick around for that. All right, let's see who we got here. All right, 64 on right now. Yes, this is gold acrylic. This is going to be part of our projects here. So without further ado, I think let's get into the first project, shall we? Let's see. So last time on the live stream, we focused mostly on wood, which that's my specialty. In my business, I strictly deal with wood, plywood, MDF, veneered woods. That's what I do. That's what I know best. But today, we're also going to be doing a few other types of mediums, if you will. So the first project we have is very popular. This is a leatherette patch. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my other camera here. So these are extremely popular. Let me try to focus this a little bit better. But this is a really cool, simple project that you can either do for yourself to give away as gifts or even to sell. I mean, they're extremely popular. And this material engraves super fast and super easy. So what this is like a synthetic leather material, and it's got an adhesive back on it that can be applied with heat. So if you have a iron, or they make special presses that you can press hats with, this is really popular to do beanies and hats with. So let's go ahead and get into that project. So the way that I have this set up here, I have Lightburn set up on my computer, which is attached to my laser, connected to my laser. I'm going to switch you over to the laser bed here. And if I didn't mention it already, I have the Monport 80-watt CO2 laser, which has a 24-inch by 36-inch bed. And it is the model that has the integrated chiller inside of it, which I really like because it makes it a much more compact setup instead of having the chiller off to the side. So I have the 80-watt 24 by 36. This could be done on any machine, any CO2 laser, any dial laser for that matter. But it's a very simple project. What I have set up here is a 3mm plywood jig, which I'm going to cut right now. This is going to help align this project. So what I did in Lightburn is I set up a file on my camera, and I have just set up a cut file to make a rectangle the size of the leatherette patch. And I focused this already. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my rectangle here. And this is cutting this 2.5mm basswood at 35 millimeters a second and 45% power. That's what I have it set on right now. Now that I have my piece cut out, I'm just going to take out my centerpiece. And now I'm going to insert my leatherette patch here. Camera fixed here. Now I'm going to insert my leatherette patch. And I'm just inserting this into my little template that I made. And I've got my material pinned down. And I just do this just to make sure that my patch is centered. And it also gives me some repeatability. So if I want to make 3 or 4 or 5 of these at a time, I can go ahead and set up this jig, and I can easily swap these in and out. So right now I'm engraving this leatherette at 250 millimeters a second and 19% power. Now, I'm not an expert on leather or leatherette per se, but these are the settings that I've just kind of came up with just from playing with this a little bit. I thought it was kind of a cool project to do, and I know it's really popular. So, you know, I just messed around with it. I mean, that's half of the game whenever you're trying a new material, to just, you know, experiment. I bought a 20 pack of these patches on Amazon, different colors, all sorts of stuff. And I just played with it. You know, you're going to mess up a couple times. I messed up a few. I don't have them on hand here, but I messed up a few, and you know, it's just part of experimenting with a new material. Yeah, and I had a little bit of. I seem to have lost my camera that was inside the laser bed, but we'll see if we can't get that back up and running here. But we'll go ahead and use my main camera here. So you can see here's our engraving that we just did. This took about a minute and a half. You know, the settings could probably be dialed in even more, but I think this looks pretty clean. There's not really any soot on it that I can see here. So again, that was 250 millimeters a second and 19% power. All right. So let's see. Let me go ahead and check out here. Let's see. Do we have any questions that have popped up so far? Let me go back, kind of try to go back to the beginning. Thanks again for everyone logging in tonight. I see we got 75 on already. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Let's see. I see some people have just got some new machines on order. Melissa just got her Onyx. Going back, we got some people here from Wisconsin, Idaho, Nebraska, Utah, Pennsylvania, Texas. Wow. Cool. Beartooth Customs, I think I remember you from last time. Purchased the 130 watt. All right. Waiting for the delivery does suck. All right. Can 2KO. My Monport arrives tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much, ETC Photography. I appreciate it. Look, this is my second live stream that I've done now ever. Last week was my first, so we had a few glitches, and that's to be expected anytime you're doing anything live. Even tonight, we're having a few glitches here, but we're going to work through them. Here's a good question. Terrence Weiss. So you ordered a new 80-watt machine. All right. Welcome to the 80-watt club. Is it frowned upon to use water antifreeze? I'm in Canada. So I'm lucky enough. I don't live in a climate. I'm in Southern California, so we do not get anywhere near freezing temperatures. So in my workshop, which is my 2-car garage attached to my house, I don't have to worry about that. I believe there's a special antifreeze mixture that you should put into the machine. It's not just like the antifreeze that you would go buy for your car. So I would just Google search, like laser tube antifreeze or any of the big manufacturers. I'm not sure if Monport has a specific one they use, but you might be able to email them to reach out to figure out exactly which one you need. But that's a great question because you definitely don't want that water freezing up in your laser tube. Scott Johnson, nice last name. Is this going to be a weekly program? I don't know. I mean, I don't know about weekly, definitely not weekly, but I would definitely be interested in doing more of these because, for myself, when I was just getting into laser engraving, which I have not been doing this long, I first got my first diode laser 2 years ago. And that's what really started my passion and my interest in engraving and lasers in general. And I've only had a CO2 laser now for a year. But when I was researching CO2 lasers and even diode lasers back in the day, like I always wanted to see projects. I always saw reviews, and you see the paid reviews, and those are cool. They have their place, or the sponsored reviews. But I always wanted to see like real stuff, and you can't get any more real than doing this live, right? I mean, so because it's not, look, laser engraving is not perfect. I mean, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of testing. Don't be frustrated to fail because you will fail. Like even these projects I'm going to do now, I mean, I have some experience. I've done this a lot. And I've run through these projects too to make sure that it goes smoothly on the live stream. But even when I was testing them, I mean, I had to figure some stuff out. I especially on acrylic. I'm going to do an acrylic project here. I'm not a pro at engraving acrylic, so I had to go through some settings and go through some testing. So I always enjoyed seeing people do things, I guess, live and not doing it perfect, right? So that helped me out a lot. So here's a good question too. This is just going into the giveaway that we're going to be doing. So do we have to use the coupon code to be qualified for the giveaway? No. To be qualified for the 50% off refund giveaway, all you had to do was buy a laser. That's it. So all you had to do is buy a laser between the Black Friday sale and today, and you were automatically enrolled in that drawing. And Kenneth, can I win the 50% off prize and order tonight? No, unfortunately not. You could still get the Black Friday deals right now. However, I already have the list from just about 20 minutes ago. I've updated the list of all the order numbers. So I already have that all populated. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get into it tonight, but do not worry. If you did order before about 30 minutes ago, your information is in the drawing. All right. And Ricky Fletcher just received your 130 watt. Wow. I wish I had 130 watt. I always say try to get the most powerful laser that you can because you don't always need it, but it's nice to have kind of on the back burner, right? So Kenneth Vonk is saying use RV antifreeze. That was going back to our earlier question about using antifreeze in your chiller. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure about that, but I mean, I think the point is I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Like the point is you just have to have the liquid in there to cool your tube and also make sure it doesn't freeze, right? And Cat's Law 2. I've used RV antifreeze in my laser for 3 years. Never had to change it yet. There you go. Let me see if I can get my other camera back online here real quick. And Stephanie Stuckman, what if I bought it from Amazon? Yeah, if you bought from Amazon, same thing. You're still going to be entered in the drawing tonight because those orders just go from Amazon to Monport. You get an order number. Those order numbers went to me, and they're going to be in the drawing. So remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and just go ahead and type away in the comments. We got a few more projects left to do today. But let's see here. Why don't we give away some free material right now, huh? What do you think about that? All right. So here are the rules for the material giveaway. All you need to do for this giveaway right now, see, we got 77 viewers on right now, is I want you to go ahead and type in hashtag material. Type in hashtag material in the comments section. Type in hashtag material. We're going to be giving away 5 material packs right now. 5 3mm packs of Baltic birch, birch plywood, 3 millimeters, 18 pieces per bundle. We're going to be giving away 5 right now. So we got 80 viewers on. Go ahead. I'm going to give you another couple seconds here. Let's go. We got 46 entries right now before I draw. So if you win this prize, if your name is selected right now, what I need you to do is go ahead and get a hold of Monport Laser. You're going to email them to sales@monportlaser.com. That information is in the description of this video, and it will be in the description when after the live stream is over. If you need to go back and review to get that email address, go ahead and email them. Say, hey, I won the drawing, and I've got your information. We'll make sure you get a code to win this material. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and draw. The first winner of the material draw is Aaron Johnson. No relation to me. All right. Let's go again. Congratulations, Aaron. Material pack number 2. Leonard Kulago. Congratulations, Leonard. Remember, if you're just joining us, type in hashtag material to enter the drawing. Let's go for number 3. Mackleby. Congratulations. All right, let's do 2 more for this session. Congratulations, Mackleby. Adam's Tech Review. Congratulations, Adam's Tech Reviews. You are winner number 4 of the Monport Birch Plywood Material Pack. All right, and the 5th winner, James Overing. All right, James, congratulations. All right. So Aaron Johnson, Leonard Calago, Mackleby, Adams Tech Review, and James Overing. You are the winners of the 3mm material packs from Monport Laser. That's 18-piece material pack. There's a link down below in the description, and it'll be there when the video is posted as well. That brings you to the website where you can purchase this material, and Monport will send you a coupon code to get that material for free. So congratulations, everybody. All right. So let's see here. Why don't we get into our second project? Let me see real quick if I can maybe get my camera going again. I restarted it here. Doesn't look like it. So I don't want to touch anything else because I don't want to shut everything down. So we're just going to do without that right now. But our second project is going to be back to my bread and butter, a wood project. So this is a really popular Christmas project to make for your friends and family. I made these last year for my family. They're a big hit. They're all over the place on Etsy. It's a stocking tag, right? So this stocking tag is made out of redwood, and it is about 9mm thick, solid redwood. And then the raised name is just made out of 2.5mm basswood plywood. So really simple to make. Let's go ahead and get started. I have another sheet here of our 9mm redwood. And I like using redwood a lot because it cuts really, really nice, especially when it's dried out, which this material is. So, I mean, I think anytime you can really add thickness to a project, it really sets it apart. Let me see if I can at least get, I can be able to do that. All right, no problem. So I've got my material in my bed. You can't see this right now, but I am going to remove my last project. I'm going to update my camera overlay. And before I forget, because this just popped into my mind, I've got to make sure that I refocus, because right now I was focused on my 2.5mm plywood. So I'm just going to get my laser head over my material and use my little focusing jig here to get into focus. Get my laser head out of the way, and I'm going to update my camera. All right, now I have my tag. I'll just give that a frame just to double check that I'm on my material. Shut my lid and let's get this thing started. I am cutting this 9mm redwood. This is going to be 9mm a second, 55% power. I have air assist turned on for this as well. I don't think I mentioned it, but when I was cutting out the leatherette tag, I didn't use any air assist. I had that turned off for this engraving project. Typically, that's what you want to do for engraving. If you have the ability to turn it down really low, that's kind of what you want for engraving. Cutting, air assist should be cranked up. So this is going to take just a couple more seconds here. Do I have any recommendations for other equipment or accessories? New CO2 user. Great question. So hopefully everyone can still hear me now. I got the compressor turned on. I got the exhaust fan turned on. All sorts of stuff going on. Let me know if you're having trouble. You know, the biggest thing I think for a new user is the camera installation and the upgraded air assist. because having an air compressor and a solenoid valve to automatically turn it on and off your air assist, it's not only going to make your machine a lot quieter because air assist is not always running all the time, but you can dial in the settings exactly what you want, and you can turn it on and off in Lightburn. So not only are you going to get great cutting ability or enhanced cutting ability with the upgraded air assist, but you also get that capability of turning it off and on, which I really like. The second thing that I mentioned is the camera. So Lightburn camera is what I have on my machine. Relatively inexpensive. It's about 120 bucks for the camera, and a couple cables here and there. For less than 150, I had that set up, and I have a video on my YouTube channel about how I set that up. But it makes it really convenient just to be able to place things and utilize material. You don't need it. It's not a deal breaker. I went many months, half the year at least, without having it. I mean, just using the red laser dot and framing, you'll be good. But it does make it more convenient. And I wish I had my second camera here, but one other tip that I have: whenever you're cutting out something on your laser, and maybe you're not sure about the settings or anything. I mean, before you take it out of the bed, hold down the material if it's not clamped down, and just kind of give it a test. I use a razor blade here. Just kind of give it a test around the perimeter, just to make sure that it's cut out. Because if it's not, if you had any type of issue, like mine didn't cut all the way through, I could see a couple pieces that are kind of hanging on there, which happens. I mean, there's, especially in redwood, there's sap and all sorts of stuff in the material. Then you can just run a second pass, and you haven't moved anything, so that way it's aligned. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that again. Here's a great comment: 29 thumbs up, but 80 watching. Smash that thumbs up. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate it. So what is the best type of wood to use for projects like this? Really anything. I like either using this like redwood because it gives a little bit of thickness, but you can also use something like this 2.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter birch plywood or basswood plywood. For the names, I'm going to use just that same material that's painted white. I'm going to use this on my next project, but this is 3 millimeter Luan, which is like a flooring material that's really inexpensive. When you're painting material, this is a really good material to use. Like I painted this gold, for example, or if you're doing something black or white, it is a really good material. So let's see here. I'm going to move my laser head out of the way. Using my knife again here, I'm just testing this. And that released now. Perfect. So here is my backer. Like I said, with any material, you're going to get variations in the material. I cut a lot of plywood. I cut a lot of plywood. And I've switched to MDF more lately because it's more consistent. But in plywood, or even like a really kind of sappy wood like redwood, you just hit certain pockets. You get little sap pockets, and it just won't quite cut out all the way. That's why the second pass was necessary on this one. Or on plywood, you have all the different layers that are glued together. You're going to hit voids. You're going to hit like super strong glue. And it's just like sometimes no matter what you do, you just can't get through that. It's just like kind of the nature of the beast, especially with plywood. So don't get discouraged about that. That's why I gave my tip about, pinning down your material and not moving it until you know that it is fully released. Because sometimes I've gotten a little carried away, and you try to pull up the whole sheet of plywood, and you got a few hangers on there because they didn't cut all the way through because of those reasons that I just mentioned. And then, now you're sanding it, trying to fix it. If you could take care of that before you pull it off the machine, it's all the better. Okay, so now for my tag here, This is, again, my 2.5 millimeter basswood plywood. Really thin, but works really great for these raised letters. You can see this is what I cut out my past example with. I'm going to go ahead and take this. This material can be kind of wavy. It's very thin. So you definitely want to make sure you pin this down, because another reason why you may not cut all the way through a material is because your focus might be out of focus if your material is higher or lower. You know, depending on what type of lens you're using, you can have a very fine window of your focal length when you're actually in focus or not. So if your bed is not level or your material is not flat on the bed, you have high or low spots, that can cause extra burning or your material not to cut all the way through. So I showed these last time. I'm going to come around here. Hopefully you could see this, but I've got these clips. I'll try to show them the best I can here. These are just little pins that go in your laser bed, in the honeycomb bed, and they help to pin down the material, because you get a little bit of resistance on them as they go inside the honeycomb bed, inside the channels, and they hold your material down flat. So again, before I forget, I really need to make sure I focus here, because we're going to be way off if I try to run this when I was focused for my 9 millimeter material. So I got my gauge. My machine has the automated Z-axis, so I can control the Z height with my controller here, which is a very convenient feature. But if your machine does not have that, you're going to have a knob that you can turn to set the Z height. I'm going to get my laser head out of the way, and I am going to reset my camera, update my overlay since I have changed out the material. Leave my old project out of the way. I'm going to put my new name up here, and I'm going to just frame it, because I always like to do that just to double check. And we're looking good for my layers on this. This is, again, 2.5 millimeter basswood. My line setting is set at 35 millimeters a second and 45% power. Shut my door. And if I preview this real quick, this is going to take about 24 seconds to cut out. And cat lot 2. Brett, do you have the pass-through door open to help with the exhaust? Good question. Very observant. No, I have the pass-through door open because I had my GoPro camera in there, and it's connected with a USB cable. So I had that in there open just to allow that wire to pass through easily. But the camera's not working right now, so I guess I could shut that off. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that maybe it comes back up here. But that's why I have the pass-through door open. Now, as you can see here, this is what they're referring to, this door here. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to put longer material in here than your bed will accept. I have a 24-inch by 36-inch bed size. So if I have a material that's wider than 24 inches, let's say 48 inches, you can slide it through this pass-through panel here onto your laser bed and have it hanging out of the machine and supported, obviously, so it won't fall down or anything like that. But you can essentially engrave something that's, you know, as long as you can fit in your space. So if you had like a, I don't know, like a 10-foot long like bar top or something, and you wanted to do some sort of engraving in one side of it, you could slide it through that pass through and the machine will still operate. Okay, So I cut out my name. This is really thin material. I know this is going to work here, but again, I'm using my knife. I have not moved my material. I'm just testing this to make sure it comes out. And it came out great. So here's my name. One tip I want to give with names, it's very popular to cut out names for signs or for tags like this, whatever. One tip, if you can get away with it, let me sit down here, is when you're designing your files, try not to make the text, extremely thin. And also try to connect all the letters together if you can. You can see here, this is one piece. Sometimes the fonts will, these nice script fonts, which everyone likes. Sometimes when you go ahead and input them into Lightburn or whatever software you're using, they'll be separated. So what you could do is you can go into Lightburn and you can separate all the pieces and kind of push them together. That's what I did with this. I had to actually take the B and kind of push it into the B, or excuse me, into the R to make this one solid piece, because it's going to make it a lot easier to assemble. So you can't always do that with every file, but if you can, it makes a big difference. This just makes everything a lot easier. And also what you could do too, I did it a little bit on this file. I probably could have done it a little bit more like right here on this little like wispy thing on the B here. You can do an outward offset on this whole file, and that'll make the text just a little bit thicker. So you have a little bit more meat on these letters here to glue onto your piece. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue. I like this Loctite super glue, easy control, because you just need a couple little dabs. You don't want to have a bunch of glue squeezing out everywhere. So I just put a few dabs. You want to try to make sure that you put enough on here. I mean, just a tiny dab, but you want to get it on all the pieces. Like on the T here, I've got a little, the cross on the T. You want to make sure you have a little dab there. This little wispy part I was talking about, you want to make sure all that's connected, or excuse me, adhered properly on your tag. And I'll just press that on. I like this because it dries really quick, but not too quick where you can't reposition it if you kind of make a mistake. That's one thing. Another tip I got, and maybe I should do a video. If you want to see a video on this, let me know. Maybe it's a good video to do, because I struggled a lot with this. You see all these guys using Activator and CA glue and, the Star Bond and stuff, which is good glue. But I found that, it's easier just to not use the Activator, because the Activator dries in like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And if you put it in the wrong spot, you're screwed. So without the Activator, I mean, it takes 10 seconds of holding it down. So it gives you just that little bit of time to work with your material as you're placing it down before gluing it down all the way. So there we have it. So there's our name tag. This isn't my specialty, but my wife is really good at just doing like some twine and some beads and stuff on here. Really finishes them off excellent. So as you can see, that project, I mean, I'm blabbing away here, but we've got about a minute into cutting the backer, and we have about 30 seconds into cutting the names. So if you have all your material ready to go, that is just a really quick project that you can crank out. So get this material up here. Now, there's a lot of competition out there for these, but excuse me. But on Etsy, I mean, these are going for $8, $9, $10 a piece. And if people are buying one of these, they're probably buying 3 or 4 of them because they got their family stockings that they want. So it's a pretty profitable project if you can maybe do something a little different, make it stand out from the pack. So Cool project. All right, so I haven't been paying attention to the comments here. I'm going to see if I can find anything else here. I'm going back to where I started. 81 viewers still. All right, that's good. We're keeping viewers, so I like that. 45 minutes in. All right. Jason Summers said he just got his 80 watt a week ago. Good. All right. So material testing time. Yeah. Key. That's a great point, Jason. Testing. I talked about this last week. Material testing, and I think I talked about it a little bit earlier, but material testing is key. You are not going to get things perfect the first time. Excuse me. I cannot stress enough just to play with the machines and have fun with them and learn, but also to make material test cards. Those are going to be invaluable for any new material, or just if you get a new machine. I mean, all machines are going to be different. So doing the material test cards for engraving and cutting power, cutting strength are going to be really key for every material, every new material that you get. Melissa Bone, thank you. What's an upgraded air assist? So the machines from Monport, and most lasers for that matter, they come with an air pump already installed. So this machine, all lasers from Monport will come with air assist, which is a pump that shoots air out of the nozzle, which helps eliminate smoke out of your nozzle cone and keeps your lens, your focal lens, clean. And it also helps clear debris and smoke away from the cut or the engraving, so that way it'll cut deeper and better. So it's very, very, very important with lasers. And like I said, the machines come with them from Monport. However, it's a small air pump that is always on, so it's a constant PSI. I don't know what the PSI is, but I don't know, maybe it's 10 PSI, let's say, or 8, 9 PSI. So on my machine, I have, you can see back here, I have a air compressor here next to the machine, along with a regulator back over here. And inside the machine, I have a what do you call it? A mechanical part that turns on and off the air pressure when the program tells it to turn it on, a solenoid. So when Lightburn tells the machine, okay, I'm running a project, it's going to be cutting at this power and this speed, and it requires air assist. So air assist is turned on. It will automatically turn on the air assist. I can turn up and down the strength of the airflow with my regulator manually. So what that allows me to do is to turn it on and off. If I'm doing an engraving project, like I mentioned before, you don't necessarily want air assist on all the way. You want to make sure that's either off or turned down. That will affect the darkness of the engraving. So if you want your engraving a little bit darker, you turn the air down. So that's what I mean by upgraded air assist. If you already have a compressor, the cost in upgrading your air assist in the way that I have done it is really cheap. I mean, the biggest cost of it is the air compressor. I have the California Air Tools. It's like a 6 or 8 gallon compressor. And that was a couple $100, and all the other little parts for it are really inexpensive, the tubing and stuff. I mean, if you had the air compressor already, it probably cost you like $30, $40 to go ahead and upgrade that. So it's not mandatory, but I do really think it's a kind of a creature comfort in order to run the machine a little bit better. Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to use air assist? Yeah, so I kind of just explained that. Engraving is when you don't really want to use air assist. But again, you have to kind of test this out. It all depends on the material. For wood, for example, I use a lot of wood. I use a lot of MDF. Sometimes when I do my material test cards, I do have the air assist on slightly. Not only does that keep all the smoke, it keeps my lens a lot cleaner. But it also kind of changes just like the coloring of the engraving. So depending on what kind of look you're going for is going to depend on whether you're using the air assist or not. And there's a lot more to it, but Lightburn camera is a game changer. I do agree. I like the camera a lot. You know, It's a convenience thing. Sticking with the camera, I installed the Lightroom camera from your video, and I've never been able to get it close enough to being accurate. Have you had any problems? I've gone through the focus test numerous times. Yeah, I mean, it is not perfect. It's not perfect. It all depends on how accurate you get the setup. One thing I would recommend, this is in my video, but you have this grid that you print out in order to set up the camera. I glued it to a piece of cardboard to make it more rigid. That helps a lot when you're going through the setup process. But even setting it up perfectly, it's not perfect, and that's why I frame things. And you do tests beforehand. You still use jigs, and honestly, I kind of just learn what my camera, how it's acting. If it's a 16th of an inch off to the right, I know that, okay, well, I got to kind of move my file off to the left a little bit just to make sure it lines up right. So it's kind of just learning your system too. And John, going back to my little tip here about using my knife. Yeah, I mean, could you use a light from underneath? Yeah, you can. There's lots of different ways you can do it. Um, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I mean, that's just what I do. I mean, you can shine a light in there. You can, I don't know, you kind of press it with your fingers too and make sure it's kind of all the way out. But I found getting a small little blade in there and kind of trying to lift it works well for me. Andrew Zappa, what's the thickest plywood you've successfully cut with using the 100 watt? So I don't have a 100 watt, I have an 80 watt. And the whole thickness thing is, there's a lot to it. Me personally, I only stick with 1/4 inch material for production. I do some thicker hardwoods like this. I mean, this is a softwood, it's not hardwood, but this redwood here, or sometimes I'll use Douglas fir or cherry, kind of some softer hardwoods. And then I'll cut about this 3/8 of an inch thickness at maximum. But for me, that's about as thick as I go. I have tried in the past to cut 1/2 inch plywood, and I've been successful with it. I've done 1/2 inch plywood. Excuse me. I've done 1/2 inch plywood successfully, just not in like a production setting, because I don't have any products that use that size material. If I do cut 1/2 inch or 3/4 material, I use my CNC to do that. So, there's a lot of videos out there of, the diode lasers and stuff cutting a 2x4 or something. And yeah, I mean, they do that, but I mean, it's for me, it's not really like a production thing with, like with the 80 watt or below type of laser. It'll do it. But I mean, you're running really slow speeds and you're going to get some charring, stuff like that. So that's why I stick to the smaller materials. Stephanie, where do I buy those clips? So I got those on Amazon. They were like $10 for like 12 of them, or a dozen maybe. I think they're made by Two Trees. It's like a laser company. They make enclosures for diode lasers or little honeycomb beds and stuff. So that's where I got them. I'll see if I can find them. I'll put the link in the description. All right. So I'm going to save some of these questions here. Let's get to another drawing. Let's give away some more material, huh? We're about, ooh, we're getting up there in time here. So let's give away some more material. Okay. Remember, hashtag material. Hashtag material. Type in hashtag material in the comments. I've got this uploaded from earlier. I mean, I've got the comments in there from earlier, so I ran one test here. J. Pat Elliott. J. Pat Elliott. See if that screen. Yeah, there we go. J. Pat Elliott. All right. If you've already typed in hashtag material earlier, it's still in the system, so don't worry. But if you're new, type in hashtag material. We got 56 entries right now. Hashtag material. This is for the 3mm 18-piece birch plywood set from Monport. Thank you very much, Monport. Let's draw again. This is our 7th winner now. 7th winner. Judd Whitting. I'm going to write that down here so I can make sure we'll get our prizes here. Remember, if you win this prize, you're going to want to reach out to Monport Lasers through email. Let them know you won. Here we go. Spin again, number 8. Remember, hashtag material. Hashtag material. The Pallet Hunter. Good job. Congratulations, Pallet Hunter. Winner number 8. Remember, hashtag material. We got 85 in the chat right now and 55 entries. So hashtag material. Stephanie Heffron. Congratulations, Stephanie. And you don't need to spam material. If you've already typed it in, you're automatically entered. Ramon Silva. Congratulations, Ramon. Let's keep going. Hey, let's give away some material, huh? That's 10. Let's go 11. Ricky Fletcher. Congratulations, Ricky. Remember, if you're new and you're just tuning in, we got 88 viewers, 55 people in the drawing. Type in hashtag material to be entered in the drawing. Tabitha DeShong. Congratulations, Tabitha. I'm crazy. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Number 13. Foley Custom Guns. All right. Foley Custom Guns. You definitely do a lot in the gunsmithing industry with a laser. That's for sure. Either a fiber laser or a CO2. Customization is the key, everybody. That's the business right there. Tom Fretch, number 14. Number 15, the 15th winner here of our material pack, sponsored by Monport, Andrew Zappa. Congratulations, Andrew. All right. All right, cool. So on that round, wow, that was a speed run, huh? Okay. So why don't we get into another project real quick? I want to be too long. I want to go about 15 more minutes until we get to the grand prize here. So let's get through a couple projects. Let's see. Remember, if I missed any questions, the material giveaways kind of spam the chat log. If I didn't get to your question yet, please retype it right now so I don't forget your question as I get this next material project set up. What we're going to do is we're going to stick with wood real quick. We're going to do an ornament real quick. Okay, so for this ornament, we're going to use that 3mm Luan material, and we are going to use some let's see, I think it's 3.5mm, 4mm, yeah, 4mm MDF. So let me get my material set up here. We're going to start with the 1/4 inch walnut MDF. I love using this stuff. Relatively inexpensive. Go ahead and get this on the bed. Get my old project out of the way. Update my overlay on my camera. Get it on my bed. Get a frame. I am going to also make sure I reset my focus here. There we go. I've reset my focus. Shut my door. So this is going to be an engraving first. We're going to start with a fill, which is 225 millimeters a second, 30% power. And our cut is going to be 9 millimeters a second at 55%. So I am starting with the engraving here, the Merry Christmas engraving. And that's going to be without air assist. Air assist is turned off. If you could see my bed right now, you can see it's smoking quite a bit. That's because the air assist is off. I also have my exhaust fan turned down really low just to kind of try to help with the audio. So I think a couple people commented on that last time when I had the camera in the bed, it was working. You know, there's a little bit of smoke. That's because I have my exhaust fan turned almost all the way down. So this is just going to take about 30 seconds to do our engraving here. And then it's going to do the cut layer. So you always want to, or for the most part, 99% of the time, you're going to want to make sure you do your engraving layers first before you cut out. Because if you do the cutout first, you know, this material could drop down into the bed, maybe a 1/16 of an inch or even an eighth of an inch if your material is a little bit bowed. So that's going to set your focus is going to be out of focus at that point if you go ahead and run the engraving second. So always run your engravings first. The first part of your job should be your engraving. For the most part, if anyone can think of a reason why you wouldn't want to do that, I guess leave it in the comments. But I can't think of really any reason why you would want to cut first. So I'm in my cutting mode here now. We're almost done. I have the air assist. You can hear my compressor turned on. Jay Breezy's asking. I just wanted to know if you use an oil water separator on there. It says, yes, I have a system over there to get rid of the water. You do not want water in your lines. Cat's Law 2, are longer focal length lenses available for Monport lasers to cut thicker material? Yes, you can buy, Monport sells on their website different size lenses. Most of the machines, if I'm not mistaken, I know my machine comes with a 2-inch focal lens installed. So they sell 1.5, 2.5, 3, 4-inch. So we can get into that on a different episode here. Okay, so here's my engraving layer. So we have a little bit of soot on there. One thing I mentioned last week was someone asked if you have a little bit of soot on your projects, how do you get it off? One way you can do that is by taking a little rubbing alcohol on a rag and just wiping that away. That'll dry up in a few seconds here. Another way that you can do that is to sand it off. I don't recommend that for you when you're using plywood veneers or even this MDF veneered, this veneered MDF, because the veneer is very thin. If you run sandpaper with that, you run the risk of blowing through that veneer and exposing the MDF, and it looks really bad. So take it from me, I've ruined a bunch of projects that way. So try to use the rubbing alcohol if you can. Okay, so our next part of this project is going to be our star portion. So we're going to cut out our star outline out of our 1/8-inch Luan painted gold. And one thing I want to note here, a quick tip here, is when you're making ornaments, you know, this ornament here with the different layers is a lot more interesting than just a flat ornament like this, right? So layering your projects really sets them apart from other people. So it takes a little bit longer, but you know, in this case, I have 1/4 inch material as my base, so it's got some good heft to it. But I'm taking this 2.5, or excuse me, 2 millimeter, 2.5 millimeter Luan, and I'm sandwiching it in between my base here of my MDF, and it just really makes it heavy and thick and gets some dimension to it. So it sets it apart. Now on this layer, you can see I have my cutout here of the star on the back. This star is just the negative space that was inside of here when I cut out this small little, um, outline of the star. So rather than just wasting this piece, because other than using it the way I did, it would just be going to waste, and I'd be throwing it away or using it for something else maybe. But I went ahead and engraved something on the back of it and used that as my other part of the layer. So let's go ahead and get that in the laser. So again, I'm pinning this material down because it is thin and it wants to bend. I'm going to refocus. Don't want to forget to refocus when you're changing your material thickness. I'm going to get my laser head out of the way, update my overlay on the camera, put in my new project, frame it. And for this 3 millimeter material, I'm going to be cutting at 20 millimeters a second, 45% power. I'm also engraving at the same speed I did before. And while this is engraving and cutting out, Sam from Salem, how do we claim the prize? All right, so if you're one of the 15 lucky winners that won your material pack so far, all you need to do is go ahead and email Monport Laser at sales@monportlaser.com. That will be in the description below, and it's there now, and it will be when the live stream is posted after it is ended. So you can go ahead and email them, say, hey, I won, give me my stuff, and they'll send it over. They'll send you a promo code, and you can order away. See what other questions we have here. Someone asked, this is a really good question. Randy, apart from the Monport website, where do you guys get materials from? So I see a little bit of discussion here about that. Those are all good tips. Me personally, I like to go to my local hardwood dealers. They have I'm lucky enough to have a couple of those within my area, about 15, 20 minutes away. And they have a huge selection of 1/4 inch plywood, different veneers, and especially 1/4 inch MDF. I love using 1/4 inch MDF with various hardwood veneers on them because it eliminates the need to have to stain to color your projects. If you want something dark, you use something like walnut. If you want something light, you use maple, etc. There's tons of variations of it out there. Excuse me. And I like the MDF because its cut's very consistent. It's very dense, and it could be harder to cut. It is harder to cut for sure than plywood in most cases, but it comes out very nice. And in the end, when all is said and done, you cut out, you can never tell that it's MDF because the edges are charred black anyway on both of the materials. So you can't tell what it is anyway. No, not that there's anything wrong with using MDF. Okay. So here is my ornament. And if you didn't follow earlier, this is what I was talking about. So when I cut out my perimeter star, I'm left with this cutout, right? So rather than just throw that and waste it, I cut a hole in it, engraved my family name on there. And now we can take this and assemble it. Just going to put a few dabs on here. This is another area where you want to be really careful. One thing you can do to attach this is to actually laminate a piece of adhesive on the back of your full sheet before you cut it. That way, when you cut it out, you have a peel and stick backing that you could remove and then glue your piece down with. Or what I like to do too is use a little bit of 3M spray adhesive. Just shoot that on the back of it. And go ahead and place it on. That works really good. But for ones and twos, super glue works really great. So here we have our ornament. This one over here I've sprayed with a little bit of spray shellac, so it really makes the grain pop. So there's our second project. Now, let's get into another project real quick, because we're getting to the end. And I want to make sure we show acrylic, because if you didn't know, CO2 lasers can cut acrylic extremely well. And this is really what separates them, aside from power, from the diode laser world, because diode lasers will not cut acrylic. They will cut some opaque acrylics like black acrylic, but they will not cut clear acrylic. So what I have here is a little 3mm acrylic, sparkle acrylic Christmas tree that I cut out on a little wood base. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to go back to our 4mm 1/4 inch MDF. Set my focus. Get my laser head out of the way. And I'm going to start cutting out my base here. And this is the same speed as I did before, which was, I believe, 9 millimeters a second and 55% power. This is going to be our base piece with these slots in it. Now, I pre-cut one of these pieces, but you can see the detail in that. Look at all those in between those snowflakes. I mean, that's the kind of precision that you can get with these machines. So this is 3mm acrylic. I'm going to cut the second half of this with this mirrored gold acrylic. And this is 3mm as well. Okay, so here's our base. I'm going to put the acrylic in. I'm going to place this in with this side facing up. Reset my focus. Now this project, I'm going to frame this here, make sure I'm aligned. Looking good. This is going to take about 4.5 minutes. I've got this acrylic cutting at 20 millimeters a second at 45% power. So let's go ahead and get that started, and let's see what questions we have here. And again, I don't know if my mic picked this up, but I am placing that mirrored acrylic with the mirrored side down. I just found that it cuts better. It's got like this, the mirror portion of it's got like this adhesive on it that, you know, makes it's a mirror foil or something that makes it shiny. So I found it cuts better upside down. And Paula Matthews, Zep cleaner is great for cleaning soot. Yes, that's a good idea. That is, I've used that before as well. That and the like Totally Awesome cleaner works great. But I do like using the alcohol because it evaporates really fast. So remember, we're going to go about 10 more minutes here. We have our grand prize coming up. We're going to give away 5 more material packs. And then the big one, we're giving away 5 50% refunds. So remember, you could still order from Monport Laser tonight and get their Black Friday deals because their deals are insane. The discounts and the add-ons that you're getting, it's like unheard of. I've never seen deals like this before. So it's really great. You won't be able to go into the drawing, obviously. I kind of explained that earlier, but you're still going to get that great deal. And one thing I will say, if you are ordering from Monport either now or in the future, you can always use my promo code BRETT10, BRETT 10. That will give you 10% off. If you missed this sale or if you're watching this in the future, my promo code is BRETT10. That'll give you 10% off at any time. Right now, during Black Friday sale, it does not work because the Black Friday sale is much greater than 10% off. But I still encourage you, please use my promo code because it does give me a little bit of a kickback being an affiliate with Monport Laser. It does help support my YouTube channel and my business. So I do appreciate that if you use my promo code BRETT10 for that. And yeah, I'm doing the acrylic right now. Sorry, I missed this comment, but Zangwell Edward, Monport Black Friday sales perfect. I like their good customer service. Yeah, great. Excellent. Yeah. Love Monport. Luckily enough, I've never had to contact customer service. My laser is not broke down. I've had a couple things happen, which, you know, is expected, especially when you're running in a production setting. But these machines are really simple. I mean, there's not too many parts to them. I mean, the electronics can be a little complicated, but, you know, when it comes down to it, you have a laser tube, mirrors, some motors moving the X and Y, Z axis, and, you know, your lens. And, you know, there's not a lot of moving parts. I've had one proximity sensor go out, which was a quick reset. And I've had a couple times where the machine wouldn't turn on, but it was just because the power cable came unloosened from the back. So. All right, Tom Fretch. I can't get the laser to start when I send a project. Any suggestions? I don't get any errors that I can tell. This is my first try. This happens when using RDWorks or Lightburn. Okay, I'm not familiar with RDWorks. I never use that, but I use Lightburn all the time. I guess kind of need some more information. I mean, is the machine moving? If the machine's moving and you're just not getting any output out of the laser, I would make sure that the laser is actually firing. You can tell that from the side panel. You can look on the power supply whether you're getting amperage there or voltage. And another thing you can check real quick is make sure the power cord's plugged in the back, because that's happened to me. And also make sure your minimum power setting is turned up. It's not down really low on your controller. I've done that before where I've turned the power setting down in order to align the mirrors so I don't blow through my tape, and forgot to put it back up and try to run a job and it doesn't fire. So try those couple things. Definitely email Monport support. They'll help you get through that. But just take it slow, go through the steps, you know, basic troubleshooting. I mean, it happens to everybody. Sam from Sam again, the camera's not essential. I definitely agree with that. Not essential, but it's a nice thing to have. See if we have any more questions here. Taylor and Sahara, Bachelor, coming from a diode, I'm super excited to work with acrylic. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, that's like a big separation from the diode world to the CO2 world, is being able to use acrylic. And as I said before, I'm not an acrylic expert. But there's a lot of possibilities there that I'm excited to even try it myself. Jay Breezy, Brett, can you mention the power to speed setting on the acrylic? Sure. So I've got 3mm acrylic, 20 millimeters a second, 45% power on my particular acrylic. It's this pink sparkly stuff. So other colors may be different manufacturers. This is cast acrylic too, by the way, not extruded. And this is a great point. Your power speed will vary depending on what model machine you use. They are not all the same. Great point. I can't hammer that home enough. These are guidelines. I'm giving what I'm using as a guideline. I found it helpful when I was new to, excuse me. We're done cutting now, so I can turn that off. I found it really useful to watch people do projects and kind of give what speeds they're using just as a baseline, but you definitely need to test your own material with your own machine, as Sam is mentioning here. Good point, Sam. Where did I get the mirrored acrylic? I got that from Amazon. Like I get most things, and most people do. And we're getting caught up here. Oman Styles, do you have a process for dealing with power outages mid-project? No, I don't. That's a good question. I guess it's not a super big concern for me here with my power grid and everything. I haven't really had to deal with that. I suppose if I had to, I might have some sort of battery backup system set up. But one good thing is, I mean, if the machine does stop, uh, if it stops without a power outage, you can restart it on the controller from where it picked up. Like if you open the door or something, for example. But if the power goes all the way off, it's going to rehome. As long as you didn't move anything in the bed, you'll be able to set the job up. You just might have to kind of see where it left off and play with your file a little bit to start that back up. But you could lose the project though, I guess, if the power went off. It's always a possibility. And that's what, yeah, Cat's Law 2, UPS backup. So yeah, Cam W, good point again. I mentioned this as well. I've had some no fire situations when I was new, and it was just because the plug wasn't all the way plugged in. There's two plugs in the back of my machine. There's one for the chiller, and there's one for like the movement, I think, is on one plug, and then the second plug is like the actual power supply for the laser tube. Do you have issues with the acrylic having an odor when you're cutting it? The acrylic does kind of smell a little bit. It's not a problem. I can smell it a little bit right now because I have the pass through open, but if I would have had that shut, I wouldn't smell it at all. But it is fairly normal. It's not like noxious fumes or anything like that, but I wouldn't want to be huffing with my head inside the bay or the machine, but you can smell it a little bit. All right, let's get this out. Okay, so here's our mirrored acrylic. You can see this piece has some of these still hanging in there. These small pieces take a little bit of weeding, I guess you call it. I'm trying to do this in front of the camera here, but I just take my knife. They're not held in very tightly. They kind of melt, the acrylic kind of melts in there a little bit. So you can just go through and hit these out. And I'll spare everybody the agony of me watching me do this for like 2 minutes. So I'll move on from that, but they just need to be popped out with a knife or a little, a little tool. Now, our two pieces are going to go together. And then they're going to go on our little base here. These are very delicate. Try not to destroy it. There we go. There's our new Christmas tree. So you can see this base here that I previously worked on. I just sprayed that again with a little bit of spray shellac. And that darkens it up, makes it look nice. All right, so there you have it. Here's our Christmas projects. Our live Christmas projects. Yeah, acrylic hanging chads. That's right. Let's see if we have any more, couple more questions here. But if we don't have any more questions, let's get on to the prizes, huh? I'm going to turn my fans off now. Let's see. Any more questions? Last call for questions. If I missed one, please, 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 and I didn't answer your question, I want to try to answer them all. We have a few more minutes. If I didn't answer it, please retype it right now. Let's see. Judd Whiting, do you use USB hubs if you don't have enough ports on the laptop? Yeah, I do totally. I don't know if you can see here, but I have one here that I have a magnet, put a magnet on the side of the machine, and this this connects my camera, and it also connects to my computer, which I have projected on my screen. I use an old, like a 2013 Mac Mini as my computer for my laser that I just had left over laying around. And that's one of the great things about these machines and the Lightburn software is that you do not need an extreme amount of computing power to run these things. So I've had a couple spare laptops over the past 10 years or so that I've been using here and there, just for lasers. So it's good to keep them around because they're good for that. Okay, let's see. We got a couple more questions that are just popping in. Black Hat Airborne. Hey, Britt, this is Taylor. After chatting with you, I took the plunge and bought the 100 watt. Okay, cool. Good job. All right, Taylor, congratulations. I wish I had that power. I think I said that earlier. 100 watts, good power. I think you'll be happy with that. And Tanner Heffington, have you used a rotary yet with the laser? No, I've not used the rotary yet. That's one of the awesome parts about this Black Friday sale is that they're giving away the rotaries for free with certain machines that you buy, with a lot of the machines, as well as gift cards and Lightburn for free, or you can pick and choose what you want. But I have not used a rotary yet. It's something I'm planning on getting into, but just haven't done it yet. I've been pretty busy with what I'm doing right now. Oil water separator recommendations. I just, I got one at Harbor Freight, I think. Just pretty basic. Cool slider. How do you know if the one, I'm not sure what you mean, cool slider. Ask that again. Jay Rodriguez, do you have any recommended PSI settings for the air assist for cutting and engraving? So, I mean, this is what I do. I don't know if it's the correct thing, but it works for me. Mostly I cut wood, but I have my air assist set at 30 PSI for cutting, and I almost always just have it off when I engrave. Again, it's just something you need to play with. That's where the material cards come into play. I try to turn it, you don't want it too high where, especially with my small compressor, it's always running, but you don't want it too low either where you're not cutting as great. And David, same question. I think I pretty much answered that with my last question. So ETC photography, I've never used the rotor tool and wondered if you can engrave a large mug that has a handle on it. So again, like I said, I'll preface this by saying I have not used a rotary. So take this for what it's worth, but I've watched videos on them and whatnot. I've researched them a little bit. From what I understand, like if you're doing a mug or those like Stanley mugs, you can take, I think, that handle off for the most part. But if you're doing like a coffee mug style, you can put it on the rotary, depending on what rotary you have, but you might not be able to do like a full wrap on the mug itself. If anyone else has any more input, go ahead and leave that in the chat. So yeah, don't worry, we're doing the drawing in a minute here. I'm keeping you hanging on here, aren't I? We got 89 on right now. We're getting to the end. I just want to make sure I get to all the questions here. Refund has not been drawn yet. We're getting to it. Okay, last call for questions. Last call. Because I think everyone's getting excited. Now, remember, we're going to do 5 more material packs. We're going to start with that. The material, we've given away 15 material packs already today. If you weren't watching, you can go back and take a look at the winners. If not, we're going to give away 5 more material packs right now. We're just last call for questions. Give it 30 seconds here. If you missed it before, you can go ahead and rewatch the live stream. It'll be posted. See if your name was called. If you won or you win right now the material drawing, you're going to want to make sure to email Monport Laser at sales@monportlasers.com. That address will be in the description below. If you forgot it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, American Revival Crafts. And don't forget to subscribe to Monport Laser's YouTube channel, Instagram, and YouTube. We're on both of them. If you could subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Don't forget to use my promo code Brett10. That'll give you 10% off anything on Monport Laser's site. That helps out the channel greatly. But let's do it. I don't see any more questions. If you typed in hashtag material earlier, you don't need to type it in again. You're already in the system. But if you're new and you didn't type in hashtag material, type in hashtag material for your drawing or for your chance to win the material pack. Here we go. We're going to do 5 more. We got 60 entries in right now, 88 people in the live stream. Andrew Zappa was our last winner. Let's go ahead and do 5 more. Here we go. Carmelo Rivera. Congratulations, Carmelo. That's number 16. Number 17. Eric Campbell. Eric Campbell, number 17. Congratulations, Eric. Next winner is Stephanie Stuckman. Congratulations, Stephanie. Number 19, second to last. John Countryman. And last but not least, here we go. The last winner of our material packs for tonight is Kevin SP. Congratulations, Kevin. All right. So that does it for our material pack. Congratulations. We gave out 20 packs today, man. Awesome. Thank you, Monport, again for sponsoring that giveaway. We really appreciate it. If you won, if I called your name and you won the material pack, please email sales@monportlaser.com and tell them that you won. Give your information. They will go ahead and send you the promo code in order to get that material pack for free. So congratulations to all our winner. Now, the moment that we've all been waiting for. And I just want to say real quick, while I got 92 viewers on here right now, I just want to say thank you very much for watching today. This has been a lot of fun. We're at an hour and a half right now, basically, of having some fun with the laser. I really appreciate it. Everyone, I really appreciate everyone watching and sticking around and being really supportive on the chats. On the chat, I really thankful for that. And thanks for all the great questions. Remember, if you're not subscribed to my channel, American Revival Crafts, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more laser content. I'm going to be putting out a review of my 80-watt machine from Monport here after having it for a year. It's not a sponsored video. It's going to be a fully honest review of everything that I like, some things I covered in this live stream. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do this again in the future. I really had a good time. So what do you say? Let's get to it. All right. So the rules for the giveaway. If you purchased a laser in the Black Friday sale up till about an hour and a half ago, you were automatically entered into this drawing for a 50% refund on whatever you paid for whatever particular laser that you purchased, which is awesome. Can't believe it. Now, the way that I'm going to be drawing these is with a random generator, and all I have is your order numbers. I was given a list of all of the orders that took place during this period, and I'm going to be drawing 5 order numbers. I believe it's the, let's see, the last 4 digits of your order number. If your order number is drawn during this drawing, you will be contacted by Monport Laser and be given the refund. They have all of your information based on when you purchase the machine. Okay, you do not need to type in any thing in the chat, nothing like that. This is just a drawing, a random drawing from your order numbers. So are we ready? All right, here we go. Let me share my screen here. Okay. I'm going full screen on this bad boy. Okay, ready. First winner. The 50% refund is order number 4428. Congratulations. Remember, check your order numbers. Here we go again. Congratulations. Next winner. Order number 4301. It's number 2. The third winner of our 50% refund giveaway by Monport Laser is going to be order number 4217. Congratulations, order number 4217. The fourth winner. Number 4286. Order number 4286. You have won 50% off of your laser. And now the last winner of our 50% refund is order number 4751. 4751. Congratulations, everybody. Congratulations. Great job. So I'm going to put these in the description below. Again, we have number 4428, number 4301, 4217, 4286, and 4751. Congratulations. Wow, that was exciting. Again, thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate it. Congratulations to everyone that won tonight. We gave away 20 material packs, and 5 lucky winners won a 50% refund off their laser that they purchased during the Black Friday sale. Great job, everybody. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Remember, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and check it out. I have a lot of laser content on there right now and more coming. I'm also on Instagram at American Revival Crafts. And please follow Monport Laser on YouTube and Instagram for future information on live streams. I think that we may be doing this a lot more often with the great reception that we had. So I thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a Merry Christmas, and thanks a lot.